where there was a lot of chatter. That would be surprising. I'm thinking inciting the crowd, maybe that had something to do with it.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. We have some fresh WNBA drama to talk about today. And honestly, this situation keeps getting more ridiculous the deeper you look into it. Now, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. It feels like some members of the WNBA media have a real issue with content creators. And right now, the biggest example seems to be what's happening between Costabile and VENOM Reacts. What makes this whole thing strange is that VENOM has done nothing but help bring attention to the WNBA coverage. During the CBA negotiations, he was everywhere. He was putting out updates, breaking down information, and even giving traditional reporters more exposure by discussing their work on his platform. That's why so many people are confused by the tension. You would think everybody covering the WNBA would be working toward the same goal, growing the league and bringing more fans into the conversation. Instead, it feels like there's this unnecessary divide between traditional media and independent creators. Some reporters seem to believe that having credentials automatically makes them more important than people building audiences online. But in today's media landscape, that's simply not how it works anymore. The reality is that content creators are reaching massive audiences every single day. Whether people like it or not, creators like VENOM Reacts have become a major part of the WNBA conversation. And that's why this latest exchange caught so much attention. Costabile and VENOM publicly disagreed, and fans immediately started taking sides. The discussion spread quickly because people are already frustrated with the way certain media narratives have been handled, especially when it comes to Caitlyn Clark. Now, maybe some of this is just misunderstanding. Maybe it's simply a disagreement between two people who cover the same league. But from the outside looking in, it definitely feels like tensions are rising. Either way, shout out to VENOM. He's continued growing his platform, covering the WNBA consistently, providing film breakdowns, and building an audience that keeps getting bigger. Kudos to him, and let's see where this story goes next.
Now, VENOM stated this. He stated, "Actually, it's not a must-read, unless you think Cece is a spoiled diva that abused her power to bend the WNBA rules to her will. If Annie shared anything Caitlyn Clark related, there will be something in here taunting her image." Now, VENOM screenshotted a couple of these paragraphs. We have to read them right now. This one stated, "The righteousness or wrongness of this one whistle is not entirely beside the point, but it is in relation to what's next. One of the most famous basketball players on the planet emphatically declared she was wronged and that anyone who disagrees, more or less, doesn't appreciate competitive sport. The appeal that will follow an otherwise forgettable dust-up does become a test of how Caitlyn Clark and the few others like her can bend the WNBA to her will. This isn't about Caitlyn Clark. So I'm guessing this article is about Caitlyn Clark getting a technical foul for clapping. That is exactly what she got a technical foul for last night. And Stephanie White didn't fight the call at all, defend her at all. But she did expose that Caitlyn Clark did get a technical foul for clapping on the bench. But that's neither here nor there. Fact of the matter is, you cannot get a technical foul for clapping. You call it taunting when she's just clapping. She could have been clapping for anything. So she's not allowed to cheer for her team when an opposing player misses a free throw? So since when did that become illegal in sports? Let it be known, the WNBA is looking like the old school mafia, bro. It's looking like a mafioso gangster league. But let's finish reading. It said, "In the specific case of the Fever's star guard, body language and behavior have overwhelmed the discourse in 2026 to a point that is almost certainly testing Clark's patience. This has also almost certainly informed her take Monday." Now, that's something else that she said. Then she went on to say, "Some of it is merited. She is animated, not shy about articulating grievances or exhibiting displeasure on the floor. Likewise, I watched a transition sequence during a Fever game against the Atlanta Dream earlier this season, in which Caitlin Clark fairly tried to displace the Dream's Naz Hillman from her spot. Hillman fairly bumped back. No foul call either way, but Caitlin Clark looked like she'd been hit with a cannonball, a meal made out of scraps. This right here, this passage right here is targeting Caitlin Clark. And Annie, you a hater for this. You a hater for this one. This one right here is you targeting Caitlin Clark. This one right here is that. Now, this one is big because, without offense to this diplomacy, Caitlin Clark sketched out her vision of what is acceptable in the modern WNBA. An official issued a call. She raised her hand like Neo stopping bullets in the Matrix. Oh my God, she's attacking Caitlin Clark. Full stop. In her mind, or whatever is happening to her this season, what is usually a professional and quiet process for appealing technical fouls is now something more. She drew a line and effectively dared the league to tell her to step back from it. People use the juice they have. This is not new. One of Caitlin Clark's few WNBA peers in terms of worldwide renown, Angel Reese, plays for the Atlanta Dream because she decided she didn't want to play for the Chicago Sky anymore. Coincidentally, Reese also picked up her 5th technical foul of the season on Monday, and the Dream are also appealing the call in hopes of overturning it. Or it is a coincidence. This is what influencers do. They influence. It only feels novel in the universe of terms of engagement or reset, blah, 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 blah. So she basically is talking about Caitlin Clark and her content creators.
Okay, let's be real for a second. It feels like a lot of this comes down to how people view Caitlin Clark, and more specifically, how they view her fan base. Annie clearly knows that Caitlin Clark has one of the largest and most passionate followings in the WNBA. That's not even debatable at this point. But here's the thing. Just because you don't like certain fans doesn't automatically mean Caitlin Clark deserves criticism. Those are two completely different things. If Annie has an issue with some of the discourse online, that's one conversation. But if that frustration starts influencing how Caitlin Clark is discussed, then fans are naturally going to push back and ask questions. The same principle applies here. You can disagree with Caitlin Clark fans. You can think some of them go too far. You can dislike certain conversations happening online. But that doesn't automatically mean Caitlin Clark herself deserves the same treatment. That's why so many people are reacting to these comments. They feel like the line between criticizing a fan base and criticizing Caitlin Clark is starting to blur. Maybe that's not the intention, but that's certainly how a lot of people are interpreting it right now. She's a Caitlin hater. Now, she stated, "The fascinating case of Caitlin Clark versus the WNBA controls the spirit of the sport." Now, that's what she titled the article. Now, if we get on Venom's comment section here, right, because Venom shared this, who is the first person we see? Annie Costabile commented, "Oh my God, you caught me. Anything related to Caitlin Clark is me tainting her image 100%. I thought Brian's column highlights that officials are getting in the way of competitive moments between players on the floor. But yes, continue with this take." So Annie Costabile is quickly basically throwing shots at Venom, and Venom replied back with this: "You don't even watch the games, my good sister, but never miss a chance to criticize her." Wow, so Venom is doing a great job in, keeping all things going when it comes to this case. Tell me what you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe.